Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Wednesday, December 3, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Akash and we have a packed show for you today.
The very first story today is very interesting, but before we move on to the headlines, I would just like to tell you to stay till the end because we have second episode of Wio Wednesdays. Today we are talking to the Chief Marketing Officer Amina Taher of Wio Bank, and she's going to tell us about Wio Family. It's a very nice option that you have in the Wio Bank app, Wio Personal app. It's going to be entertaining and very knowledgeable. If you have a family, it's going to be completely for you. Just learn about it. But let's move on to the headlines because very interesting headlines today. Lebanese founder Tarek Mansour's Kalshi has landed an exclusive prediction data deal with CNN. It's a very big name. Next up, we're going to talk about something that me and Akash usually always talk about in the newsroom. Saudi Exchange CEO, Tadawul CEO, has said that 40 IPOs are under review on Tadawul, the main Saudi stock market. And then we talk more about Saudi Arabia when we talk about the 350 billion spending that Saudi Arabia is planning through 2027. And everyone is saying that oil revenues are going down, so they will stop their spending. But it is exactly the same spending that they've done in 2024, in 2025, and they'll carry on. So we'll see where the money comes from and how they want to plan it. The very first story, we were talking about it in the morning. It's Kalshi. It's such a great startup by a Lebanese founder, and in a move that could reshape how newsrooms like us cover what lies ahead, CNN has struck an exclusive data sharing pact with Kalshi, the US-based, federally regulated prediction market platform. Under the agreement, Kalshi's real-time prediction data will feed into CNN's television broadcasts, digital reporting, and social media coverage, offering audiences a new lens on the likelihood of upcoming political, cultural, economic, and weather events.
This deal actually marks Kalshi's first major partnership with a global media outlet, signaling growing acceptance of prediction markets as legitimate, if controversial, sources for gauging future events. For CNN, it injects a novel data-driven dimension to traditional reporting, allowing commentary informed not just by past facts, but real-time market sentiments and probabilities.
And Kalshi was co-founded in 2018, very nice startup, by Tarek Mansour and Luana Lopez Lara, while both studied at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, very famously known as MIT, and MIT is very famously known for its research. Mansour was born in California, but spent much of his early life growing up in Lebanon before returning to the US to pursue his studies. During internships at prominent financial firms such as Goldman Sachs and Citadel, he witnessed firsthand how institutions attempted to hedge macroeconomic and political risks, often using overly complex derivatives when what clients wanted was a simpler tool to bet directly on outcomes.
Driven by the idea that events deserve markets, Mansour and his co-founder envisioned Kalshi as a regulated exchange where participants could trade contracts on outcomes, from elections to economic indicators to weather, rather than wrestling with coveted financial instruments. In November 2020, Kalshi won approval for the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, to operate as a designated contract market, making it the first such regulated platform in the US.
And since its public launch in July 2021, Kalshi has seen explosive growth. In 2025 alone, it announced a fresh capital injection that pushed its valuation to about $2 billion after a recent funding round led by investors including Paradigm, Sequoia, and others, big names. The platform now claims to serve users in more than 140 countries, operating on a unified global liquidity pool, a structure that the company says deepens liquidity and makes event pricing uniform worldwide.
What makes Kalshi's rise particularly notable is its founder's background. Mansour, who spent part of his childhood in Lebanon and later studied at MIT, now leads a rapidly scaling fintech exchange that has captured global attention. Through the CNN partnerships, his vision transcends financial markets and moves directly into media and public discourse, potentially bringing an Arab-founded global fintech startup story onto the center stage, a rare narrative in mainstream financial and media sectors.
It's such an interesting story because of two facts. One, Kalshi, the predictive markets, when you read about them, they're so interesting that you have to predict an outcome which no one has the data to predict.
True.
For example, will it rain? Will it not? Is there going to be a thunderstorm? Weather is the simplest to understand in terms of this, but elections also, who will win, who will not. But coming at Tarek Mansour, a Lebanese founder who spent some time. We've seen so many founders, Arab founders, we cover a lot of them, but some of them have never stepped foot in their own home countries for more than 2 months or 3 months for holidays. This guy actually went there, lived there, and then eventually he moved back to the US and formed a prediction market whole setup. Very nice story. It reminds me of Will Ahmed. I was looking at a video of what's the name of the watch? Will Ahmed is the health thing. But yeah, Will Ahmed is an Egyptian founder. He created the health thing. What's it? Everyone wears it. I'll remember it, but Will Ahmed.
Whoop, you mean Whoop?
Whoop, Whoop,
Ah,
Whoop,
okay.
Whoop.
Whoop is...
Will Ahmed Whoop.
Yeah.
Very rhyming. But he was, they recently sponsored the Dubai run. They recently came to Qatar. They did partnership. They came to Saudi. They did partnerships. They're partnering all over the Arab world. But I remember Rich said a very nice thing that he doesn't, I think, like to be called Egyptian origin because he never shares our stories, never likes it. A lot of them actually like or share the stuff that we do about them. And I think it's the fear of being associated with the Arab world instead of being associated with America, where founders are given more access and priority only because they have a passport. Do you feel that like it's kind of that or not?
I don't think so. I just feel that in terms of this story, I just feel that this story is really good for the region, and it really it's inspiring, and it feels like okay, there is this momentum going on, and I just feel good. It feels nice.
And the founders are our founders, to be honest. Now we call them our founders because we started owning them, especially on Smashi Business. They go and they're ruling the world, to be honest. Now you can talk about Silicon Valley, you will find a lot of founders there. We cover Amjad Masad a lot. He's the founder of Replit, easy coding platform for you and me. So there's a lot of people who are going out there and doing something great. But there is one very important stock market which is going to do great if what we've learned will turn out to be true. So Saudi Arabia's main stock exchange, which is Tadawul, and then they have a parallel smaller market, Nomu also. But Tadawul is preparing for what could be one of its busiest years yet, with around 40 IPOs, IPO applications currently under review. That is according to the CEO, Mohammed Al-Rumeh. He was speaking at FII Priority Asia in Tokyo. It was a very nice event. We'll give you a lot of updates on our socials as well about what was happening there. And he said the Saudi exchange now has a very vibrant pipeline as it aims to cement itself as the region's premier venue for listings and potentially soon a global hub for certain sectors as well.
Al-Rumeh noted that IPO activity has surged in recent years. After once seeing only a handful of listings annually, the exchange has now surpassed 40 in a year. Another 80 to 100 companies have already appointed financial advisors as they prepare for a future listing, he said. Last year, the main market alone saw 15 IPOs raising 4.1 billion, making Saudi Arabia as the world's seventh largest market by number of offerings when including the Nomu growth market.
And this year, 14 main market IPOs are set to raise more than $3.9 billion, keeping Saudi Arabia firmly ahead of other GCC bourses in both deal count and proceeds. The latest listing, a $67 million offering by Cherry Trading, began trading on Monday. Education operator Al Masar Al Shamil follows today with a $160 million debut. It's actually debuted and they're like 15% up already. And yeah.
And Al-Rumeh said Saudi Arabia is working to attract more foreign participation. Recent reforms now allow Saudi depository receipts, enabling foreign companies to cross-list more easily. Regulators are also seeking feedback on proposals to expand foreign investors' access and simplify investment fund structures.
And Saudi Arabia aims to lift the stock market size to 88% of GDP by 2030, excluding Aramco. So imagine the biggest piece of cake that they have in the Saudi Tadawul market. They want to exclude it and still be 88% of GDP. Very big, very nice goal. But despite strong IPO momentum, the Tadawul has been the region's weakest performer this year. We should also tell the other side of the story. It was down 12.7% since January. To be honest, we can say that it's not because of Tadawul and the companies. It's basically all the things happening in the region. And then Mr. Trump coming and ruining the markets for us. March, everyone knows what happened. He announced tariffs. The whole market, the global markets went down. So these numbers are not, to be honest, predictive of what Saudi market is doing bad. It's predictive of the overall global markets, which are very much riding on AI.
Yep.
Everyone is investing. If I am a retail investor, a single investor, we are all investing in companies which are doing something about AI, right, Akash?
Yep.
And meanwhile, Dubai's benchmark index gained 13%, while Saudi Tadawul was down 12.7%. And it's very important because we do a little bit of trading. I think more IPOs, more chances to get into the market, right?
100%.
Because if you are not in the market, and Saudi market is the biggest, I think, in terms of listing this year, and also I think last year also it had the most number of IPOs.
Yep.
Dubai did 2 or 3, Abu Dhabi did 2 or 3, but Saudi did I think 14 or 15 last year. And this year also, whenever you talk about IPO, someone is listing on Saudi markets,
100%,
either
yeah.
be it Tadawul or Nomu.
Yeah.
But 40 IPOs, it's
It's-
humongous.
And also, like, since the time I've started trading, I've always wished that, why I didn't know about this earlier, and why there weren't any more IPOs launching when I was, investing. It was always like, oh, okay, let's invest in companies that, are already there, and, to have some, say, penny stocks.
Yeah.
So now that the IPOs are coming in, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel that, with the market, with the country, I think even I'm going to, grow wiser and taller and richer.
And I think Arab markets it's a very good chance for anyone who's interested in them. Whereas as soon as you enter the Arab markets, you realize that there is so much potential to grow.
Yeah.
Whereas when you talk about Wall Street or the bigger ones, the European markets, or even Asia's Nikkei, the biggest ones, there is not much room to enter and grow. Because I remember the last IPO that I followed on the American market was Figma. And Figma came, it opened, it was subscribed to at a price of $8.50. Before opening, pre-market trading, it went up to 30.
Wow.
And then as soon as the market opened, it started trading, it went up to 170. So an $8, because I think in the last, before Figma, there was no IPOs in tech sector in the last 2 years. So everyone was going crazy about it. So it went from 8 to 30, 270, touched and came back. And now I think it's trading around 30. So it was kind of a big luck play for a lot of people, and you see these things in Wall Street. But now when you come back to the Arab markets are not that big movers. I remember Lulu came, and for 3 days it kept rising. It hit the ceiling. There's a limit of 30% increase. For 3 days it kept rising. But then it consolidated at around the price it was subscribed at. I think they still have room to create those kinds of IPOs.
Yes.
Where they start at $8 and then randomly go to 170, right? So there is very big opportunity in these markets right now.
100%.
And all the bellwether stocks that we have, EMAR, biggest one on DFM, doesn't go too much up, goes maximum 2-3% if it goes, or maybe falls 1%, gives good dividends. Aramco gives good dividends. I think right now the market is very good to invest and get the dividends. Right?
It's always good to put in your money and then hold it. And even Warren Buffett said that he started making money when he was like this old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to invest into really good IPOs, really good markets in DFM, in Tadawul. Like now it's like if the sign is of more IPOs, that means the market is growing, which means the economy is growing, which means the country is growing. So I feel good.
Yeah. So all the places that you can invest in right now, apart from stock markets, UAE, Middle East, Saudi Arabia is already a very ripe market for everything in terms of investing. But trade-wise, also the markets are also growing, and they're doing great. 40 IPOs, very much looking forward to it. The next story is very interesting again. It's Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia, everyone is talking about how oil prices are down and they need oil at $90 per barrel to complete all their projects, right? But Saudi Arabia, the Ministry of Economy, they came out with a statement on Sunday. Very interesting. They have said that Saudi Arabia, the kingdom, will maintain high levels of government spending over the next 2 years, reaffirming its commitment to economic diversification despite pressures from lower oil prices. According to the Ministry of Finance latest budget statement, expenditure will reach 1.3 trillion riyals. That is equal to $350 billion in 2026 only. So they're spending this much, and the government plans to keep spending at roughly the same level, nearly $350 billion in 2027 as well, as it pushes ahead with major transformation initiatives.
The Finance Ministry expects revenues to gradually recover after declining over the past year. Even so, the kingdom is preparing for continued budget deficits. Officials project a 3.3% deficit in 2026, down from 5.3% expected in 2025, with future narrowing anticipated towards 2027. The government maintains that these fiscal gaps are intentional and aligned with its investment-led growth strategy.
And Finance Minister Mohammad Al-Jadan Karbi, stopped working, said the current level of deficit is a policy choice, explaining that sustained investment is essential to empower the private sector. He added that Saudi Arabia would continue borrowing as long as the returns on the state-backed projects exceed the cost of debt, a calculation officials say continues to justify the kingdom's ambitious spending plans.
Saudi Arabia revised its 2025 deficit sharply higher earlier this year after spending outpaced expectations and revenues fell due to weaker oil markets. While oil export income has improved since hitting a 3-year low in May, Brent crude prices around $63 a barrel remain well below the level needed to balance the budget.
And finally, the kingdom has been reassessing the timetable and scale of some major Vision 2030 projects amidst prolonged lower oil prices. No one was expecting this, but it happened, and ongoing fiscal pressure. Still, Saudi Arabia remains one of the most active emerging market borrowers this year. They raised nearly $20 billion through international debt markets as it pushes forward with its long-term economic transformation. It's a very big story, just in terms that they are going to spend $350 billion. And we all know that a lot of money will go to the 15 stadiums for the 2034 World Cup. A lot of them will go towards the other projects. We all know, NEOM, giga projects. It's not even mega projects. Yesterday, just to give you a joke, yesterday, Yasser Al-Rumayyan, I was listening to the whole 8 hours of FII Priority Asia Summit, and in between he said that everyone says that we can't do this project, we can't do this project. No one reads the tagline. It doesn't say mega project or any project. It says giga project. So giga projects take generations to build, and they take time and money and blood and sweat. So his point is 100% true that, it takes a lot to build those things that we see. Burj Khalifa, I always give Burj Khalifa example. It took so much time. But now, when you look at Burj Khalifa, you don't remember anything, right?
That's true.
Everyone looks at it like, wow, what a marvel.
No matter what time.
So, that's it for today. We're just going to go now towards the second episode of Wio Wednesday. It's a very interesting chat with Amina, Taher. We had a sit down in one of our studios. You will love the idea of Wio Family, because it's a option, it's a feature that I 100% will personally use. And if you're interested in learning about how to manage your family's finances, this is the episode for you.
And that's a wrap for today. Thank you for tuning in for the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all our platforms, all our channels, Smashi Business, and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
Hello everyone, I'm Abdul Majid Awan and welcome back to Wio Wednesdays. Last week, we explored how a homegrown idea became one of the region's most progressive banks. This week, we're making it closer to the home. Today, we're talking about Wio Family, a new way for families in the UAE to manage money together simply, transparently, and securely. It's the first shared family account in the UAE, and it's changing how households spend, save, and grow all in one place. And joining me to unpack how it came to life is Amina Taher, the Chief Marketing Officer at Wio Bank. Thank you so much, Amina, for coming in today for Wio Wednesdays.
أهلا وسهلا and shukran Majid. It's great to be here.
First of all, let's start completely with the core of the idea. We're here to talk about Wio Family. And Wio Family is one of the products that Wio has. What is it? What can you tell me about it? Give us a Wio 101.
So Wio Bank was built around redefining banking. It was built to make sure that it empowers both individuals and businesses. So everything we do is evolved around making banking simple, disruptive, and all-in-one app. That's what I love about it. And when we talk about Wio Family, as an Emirati, it's been an incredible to witness how this country has grown and evolved, welcoming families from all around the world and from every corner, giving people the opportunities to really thrive. It's beautiful, honestly, to witness such optimism, not just for Emiratis, but for all the people who call the UAE their home. And Majid, seeing this incredible growth and change in the country, really felt that it's the right time to look into what we're doing at Wio and ask ourselves how we can match this progress in banking and how do we make it simpler and more accessible, truly helpful for all the people building their lives and family here in the UAE. So we began simply by exploring this idea. We didn't sit in a boardroom. We never sit in a boardroom. We're not a corporate bank. We're fun, innovative, like all-in-one digital. So we went out and asked our customers directly what they need. I think that's the best way to know your customers is by speaking to them directly. And families here in the UAE, they're just so beautifully diverse, from couples starting out to young parents raising kids like myself to multi-generational homes with 3 generations under one roof. We share everything except our banking. So you know what, we thought if banking could move the same way families do, what if we could, make it transparent and it could be simple for everyone under one roof. So that's how basically Wio Family began and evolved or conceived. It wasn't built for families, it was built within and with families. So we listened to hundreds of stories from single parents, young couples, grandparents, and even household helpers, and their feedback shaped everything we did when we created this product and experience. And in a country like the UAE, that means something. Actually, that means everything, because family is the nation. And for us, Wio Family isn't just a new product. It's a reflection of how people here actually live, and we live together.
And it's very interesting that we're talking about Wio Family because the next year, 2026, is the year of family now.
Exactly.
Right?
So we're moving from year of community to the year of family.
Yeah, it's so interesting that this product is there. Somehow great marketing for you guys, naturally. But as we talked about it, as you said, money is a very emotional thing. It is obviously numbers at the end of the day, but it's a very emotional conversation between families. So I understand that how this works. But can you tell us the specifics, like how does it actually work? Do you have one account? Do you have multiple accounts? Does someone have control over who can spend what?
So before I answer that question, I want to understand from you, like how does money works in your family?
It's very simple. I just give it all to my wife and she manages it. And the home ministry manages it. But I think in a lot of households where I've seen like a lot, my father, as you said, my mother still doesn't know my father's salary. She's never known that. He manages the finances, he manages everything. So it's really interesting that way that some families do allow. And I think the newer families are more into budgeting together. So it becomes a very viable product.
So to me personally, what I love about it, it gives that financial independence and empowerment for women, especially for my mom and for my daughter. Like I come from a family of women. I have 4 sisters. I don't have brothers. I have a lot of aunts and cousins who are, women. And I grew up having them as reference when it comes to, great women, especially my grandmother. So talking about Wio Family, it's again, simplicity is key, because once you do things that are simple and uncomplicated, it empowers people, then it gives you that opportunity and trust where you can feel you can actually take control of your financials. So for us, Wio Family is built on the idea for one shared account built with families in mind. So parents or partners can open a single shared account, add multiple members, be it spouses, kids, or even household helpers, and each person get their own Wio card. So you can assign spending limits, set saving goals, and track every transaction in real time. It's like having visibility and control, but without stress. When you open a family account, both family leads benefit from the best. What does that mean? That means if higher interest on family savings, you get up to 6% interest, which is huge, but also you get 1% cashback on all family debit card spend. And the best part is you can earn a total of 7,500 cashbacks per month combined.
So, Amina, for example, I have a family of 3. I have a 6-year-old. He can't manage his finances right now. Yet. But eventually he will. So it's going to be just one account shared between all 3 of us, me, my wife, and my son.
So it's one shared account, but many empowered users. So everyone gets to participate responsibly. Responsibly is key. So we even built smart categories, so you can see where your family spends the most, and how do you plan budgets together, for the present and the future, because family finances should be about teamwork, not tension. So exactly one shared account, many empowered users, and everyone has a role to play, just like in real families. Parents or partners can manage the main account, set spending limits, which I think is important, but also more importantly, create shared goals. And teens, so hopefully, when your 6-year-old, inshallah, grows up, he can have his own card so that, that he can learn to be financially responsible in a safe, guided way. So even helpers or drivers can be added with limited access for daily expenses, all tracked transparently and in real time. And because every family matters and every family runs differently, we have made that setup very flexible. So you can decide who gets access on what and what they can spend and what they can see. We also built smart categories that automatically organizes spending, such as groceries, bills, travel, education. So everyone in the family can see where the money is going and plan better together. Because in the end, family finance shouldn't be a source of stress, like I said earlier. It should be teamwork. And that is why we have launched with our tagline, banking now runs in the family. And it's perfectly captures what we're trying to do. Turn family banking into something collaborative, transparent, but most importantly, joyful and fun.
Does everyone become a part? If my teenager says, no, I want to spend more than the spending limit, is he allowed? Is there safeguards for it? Or I can see where he's spending that money?
I love the fact that now you're just like visualizing and imagining how this works. And this is what Wio Family is all about. So absolutely, yes, we wanted to make sure that Wio Family wasn't just for parents like you and I or partners. It's for every member of the household. So kids and teens can have their own pockets with spending limits, which will help them learn early how to manage money responsibly. And nannies or other members of the family can have shared cards so they can spend freely while the account owners keep an eye on the budget. So it's it's built around financial inclusion at the most personal level.
You're right that this is more about financial education as well. Because if you give your kids, if you give your spouses, even maids and all the drivers, they would be able to track, you would be able to track, and the kids can actually learn how to save money. For example, if you give them 3,000 dirhams for the month, if they save 500, it's there to use for the next month. So that helps him understand saving money, financially investing here and there.
I love that. And I think, we all have that responsibility, most importantly as a parent, not just our role in the businesses and what we do at work. So beyond professional, our responsibility towards our community and ourselves and, our families is how do we empower them? And for me, I think the most imperative empowerment is to be financially independent.
So Amina, you talked about a lot of women in your family. You've talked about money and you guys have these discussions, and you said your mother is very good at prompting. There's this very interesting hadith from the Prophet. He says that half the wisdom that you can have is asking a good question, and that is what prompting is basically. So she's very wise, I think, in terms of you saying that she prompts very nicely.
No, alhamdulillah, and I'm so happy you referenced the hadith, because for me also Islam and the Arabic culture is rooted by my identity and everything that I do. And I grew up in a household where every Friday, every Jum'ah, we used to go to my grandparents' house, and this is where all my aunts and uncles and my cousins and my sisters, we all gather. We have amazing food, but most importantly, that's where a place I got to know so much in terms of knowledge, because we speak about, geopolitics, socioeconomics, religion and Islam and, ethics. But one of the things we don't necessarily talk about is money and finances. And I feel we should normalize that, even as friends, or, I think finance is so intimate and families are intimate. So we need to kind of change that, misconception, or try to make it the new norm where, you are financially independent, but you're also so comfortably talking about finances with your partners, with your loved ones in a very productive or healthy productive tension.
How does transparency work in it? What are the controls that I have if I'm managing the account as the head of the household? What are the rail guards that you have there?
So transparency builds trust, right? And Wio gives you both. So every transaction is visible in real time, and parents can freeze or adjust cards instantly. So I hope that answers your question. When you see something, you're like, oh my God, that's a red flag, or continue if it's a green flag. So notifications keeps you updated on where every dirham goes or every fils goes. And it's the kind of control that makes families feel secure, but also free to live without that financial friction or burden.
So the first episode, we talked about the Wio story in Wio Wednesdays. Then we are talking about Wio Family. We'll talk about a lot of other products, so you guys should stay tuned for other episodes. But how does Wio Family come in as a product to help the bigger Wio brand, the whole setup that you have?
So I'll tell you my answer from a personal experience. I joined Wio because it's not a bank. Nice. Because we don't behave like a bank. We don't act like a corporate organization. We are built around, honestly, what people want and trying to solve their problems. So everything we sit, when I sit with my team and I sit, across our different divisions, what I like about it is there's that flexibility where we all sit together trying to solve a problem or coming up with something that's innovative. So that culture is very nice because you feel what you're doing actually has impact and you're trying to make people's life better. So for me, I love that personally when I see the results. I mean, today, we have the highest net performer score in the world of banking. That means people are happy. We get most of our customers. Our number one way to getting customers is by referrals, which makes my job easy, and my team. So for me, when I look at Wio Family, it's just an extension of what Wio is. And Wio is all about, putting people first. We are in the business of people, so we want to make sure we empower you or your business, how you can spend, save, and invest smarter.
Yeah, and Wio is like the biggest bank when it comes to SMEs and then individuals as well. So whatever you say, makes sense because customers are at the heart of it. And I think Wio Bank will do great, not because, again, you said not corporate structure, not all of that, but the products that you're offering. Wio Family specifically, to be honest, this whole episode has been a learning experience for like next 5 years of my future when my son grows up, when I have more to manage, and I think makes sense. So let's say one last question, a short statement from you. Wio Family, if you introduce it to someone, you go and say, Wio Family is something. What would your pitch be like? Oh, this is something that you should do. Maybe they're a Wio customer, maybe they're not. But how would you pitch Wio Family as a product? Elevator pitch.
That's an interesting question. I love elevator pitches. I would say Wio Family is an experience that will revolutionize families.
And families are at the heart of everything.
Families are everything.
And at the heart of the UAE also, the next year is the year of family.
So if you're not a Wio user or a Wioer yet, I would say try and experience it and see how you feel and your families feel about it. But yeah, for us, success will be when we empower you, your wife, and your 6-year-old.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Amina, for coming here today. It was a pleasure talking to you about Wio Family, and we hope to have you here again someday. We've come to the end of episode 2 with Amina Taher, the Chief Marketing Officer at Wio, and what we've learned is that every family that plans together grows together, and you can start managing your business smarter with 6 months of free banking on Wio Business. Download the app from the App Store or Google Play and use code WIOSMASHI, WIOSMASHI. Next Wednesday, we celebrate the UAE, the land of opportunity for businesses and builders with Pratik Wahi, Chief Commercial Officer of Wio. Until then, I'm Abdul Majid Awan, and this has been Wio Wednesdays.